Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hello. This is HQ in the house with a quick report. I just want to talk about something that has been affecting us, and it's been affecting us for real, where the world has been paying attention since Charlie Kirk's death, right? It's the relentless rise of gun violence in our country, especially those shootings carried out by people who are mentally ill, who are mentally hurt and handicapped. I know this is a heavy subject and people are like, I don't want to really hear about it, blah, blah, blah. But we can't pretend it doesn't affect all of us because most people didn't even pay attention until Charlie got shot. Most people weren't even paying attention. Oh, somebody just got shot. Oh, no big deal. We really didn't know who it was. Oh, I talked to him. Now people paying attention. Okay. But we can't pretend that it don't affect all of us, whether directly or through the fear that shadows our everyday lives too. Think about how many times we hear about somebody, a neighbor, a student, somebody in a place we expect to be safe at, right? Open fire, like that church. Go to church expecting to be able to worship, Christ. And here's somebody coming there with gun blazing, open fire without warning. The victims are ordinary people, worshipers, shoppers, students, families. And every time it happens, right? Every time it happens, the fear is getting closer and closer. The fear is getting closer and closer. It gets deeper and deeper. Fear that the next time it'll happen to somebody we know. The devastation is not limited to those bodies. It's the shock, the grief, the trauma, the way communities shut down, how people look over their shoulder, don't want to go to church. How many parents hesitate before sending their kids to school or church when you didn't hesitate before? You hesitate now, right? We see whole neighborhoods changing, guarded, closed businesses, fewer evening walks, a very somber life, right? The emotional toll endures long after the headlines have been done. So, now I want to be clear about something. Many of these shooters have severe mental illnesses, things like that. But that doesn't mean every act of mass violence is the same, or that we should label it a war on religion or Christianity or some broad ideological conflict, right? Research have long cautioned about making this an oversimplification. It's not so simple. Mental illness is not so simple. Okay? It does a disservice if we ignore these things. We have to get a hold of our mentally ill, okay? And guns. Which brings me to another point. The words that are coming from the top, from our president or from leading politicians and blah, 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 have frequently done more harm than good. After every damn tragedy, we hear the statements about evil and monsters and terrorism and attacks on Christians and garbage like that, but rarely concrete plans about what to do about this rhetoric that seems to deepen our divides. That kind of framing pushes us apart. When the president does that, that pushes us apart. It pits groups against one another, turning a crisis into a political campaign every goddamn time. It encourages a climate where some citizens feel like they targeted, like you want to target just because I'm not a Christian. Now, excuse me, just because I'm not a Christian, I should be afraid because I'm not a Christian. Or if I'm a Muslim, I should be afraid. Okay, that's how it feels. And these wounds will never heal if we do not get the leadership that we need to de-escalate whatever is going on in this country. Recent cases explicitly characterize violence directed at churches or faith communities as assaults on religion, even before the investigators got done doing whatever they got to get done. That kind of language comes from the presidency. It has a ripple effect. It encourages separation, polarization, strokes fear, invites suspicion of your neighbor. We end up fighting over labels, names, lefty, righty, Christian, unchristian, instead of demanding serious solutions or resolve when it comes to mental health and guns. Okay, this is not about red or white or gun, not gun, Christian versus Muslims or whatever. It's about too many weapons in the hands of people who have mental illness, people who are in crisis, waivers and loopholes and background checks, unstable mental health treatment, and political unwillingness to confront what must be confronted and changed or curbed. We need better crisis intervention too, better community health organizations, safe storage requirements, protocols, universal background check. We need all of those kind of things. But rhetoric that frames every attack as a war on religion or a battle of ideologies or the battle or a fight against Second Amendment, taking our guns away. y'all ain't even helping. Y'all not helping when y'all start talking like that. Okay. This man drove his truck into a Mormon church, opened fire during a service, and set the damn building on fire. At least 4 people were killed, 8 were wounded. The suspect, who served in the military, Jesus, was killed during this exchange. He was killed. They labeled it a targeted attack against Christians before the investigators could confirm any kind of motive. But right now, what we know is that people died. Families are shattered. Congregants now fear going to church, going to the house of the Lord, house to worship. And the community is trying to figure out why. Okay? We can't continue to have these gun issues or mental health issues, okay? We have to figure out what we're going to do, what needs to be done. And with that, I list the people that have been in the news. The people that have been in the news, starting with this first guy, Thomas Jacob Sanford. On Sunday morning, a mass shooting and arson attack struck the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan. Authorities identified the shooter, Thomas Jacob Sanford, age 40, former Marine and Iraq war veteran. 10:25, drove his pickup with flags, American flags, into the church building. Then he exited and opened fire with an assault rifle. Then he set the church on fire. Police engaged him, and there was a gunfire roughly 8 minutes after the start of the attack, and they ended his life. Classified it as an incident as the incident of targeted violence, and the FBI is still investigating on that. Okay. His neighbors and political figures have noted that Sanford had previously expressed hostility towards the Mormon faith. A local city council candidate who canvassed in his area shortly before the attack, claimed Sanford went on a tirade in which he called Mormons the Antichrist. Additional public records and images show a Trump sign outside Sanford's house, which has raised questions about possible political leanings. Okay? But they don't know that. So we don't know what's going on with this particular person. Number two, since Charlie Kirk has died, this is a list of the people that have went on mass shootings since he has died. And it's only been what? 14 days, 19 days? And we got at least 5 to 10 more shootings since then. 5 to 10 more shootings. Shooter kills at least 4, wounds 8 in Michigan. Okay. Drove into the church, fired the assault rifle. Suspect died. He crashed his vehicle through the front doors of the church. Okay. Then got out and just started wailing. Okay. We don't know what is the reason for that. He hated Mormons. We don't know where he came from, what, when, and how. White male. We don't know. Second guy was Nigel Max Edge, Southport, North Carolina. On the evening of Saturday, September 27, mass shooter erupted at the American Fish Company, a waterfront restaurant in Southport, North Carolina. According to authorities, the shooter fired from a small boat at the shore, targeting patrons at the restaurant. Nigel Max Smith, 40 years old, apprehended 30 minutes later by the U.S. Coast Guard after being spotted loading a boat at a public ramp. This was highly premeditated and targeted. He has a military background, Marine Corps veteran with a Purple Heart, and claimed PTSD and other mental challenges. Mental health. They're looking to put him in the death penalty. This is wild. I mean, it's plenty more. It's plenty more. The point is, we don't know what the hell is going on with these people. Hey, T, Little Tide Pro, Ryan, Knights, JS, Erica, Black America. This is why Knights Hospital. It's like I hesitate. to go to church. I don't know what shit. I know I'm gonna be by the door, or I don't know where. I don't know. You just probably ain't get me to the church, okay? Because this last guy, he just said, I'm just gonna take everybody out, okay? He gonna take everybody out, and this other guy, he just shooting from the boat. Nigel Max Edge shooting from the boat. He's taking folks out for no reason. No reason to be taking folks out. But it's a mental illness. And nobody wants to address the mental illness. You know, they shut the places down years ago where mentally ill could go. When they could go somewhere and you can help them. He's being currently held without bond, this guy. We got our next guy, Rosita. Suspect in Rosita. They think this is September 28th. During a raffle event at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino in Rosita, Texas. Gunmen opened fire on attendees, killing 2 people and injuring 5 others. Suspect was later identified as Kayron Jones. Kayron, Keyran. Kayron Jones. Okay. Open fire. I'm trying to figure out, was he in the casino? What was he doing? Was he in the casino? This happened in the casino? 34-year-old initially fled the scene and was taken into custody 100 miles away. Okay? They charged him 2 counts of capital murder, plus 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. No clear motive is disclosed. No public statements. None of these people have religious or political statements. They have not made any of those. Okay? They did not find any verifiable public source giving Jones's race. So we don't know whether he's black or white. Sound black, but I could be wrong, right? Unidentified suspect. Bourbon Street, New Orleans, September 28th, 2:22 a.m. Shooting on Bourbon Street, New Orleans, left one woman dead and 3 others wounded. Deceased was identified as a woman visiting from Chicago, celebrating her birthday. Okay. Characterized the shooting as tied to a fight that escalated into gunfire. Race of suspect, don't know. Bourbon Street shooting leaves 1 dead, injured, 3 injured. 15-year-old suspect, El Paso, Texas. 5 teenagers were shot near playground at Commissioner's Corner apartment complex in El Paso, Texas. 15-year-old boy was detained for questioning and later arrested on multiple counts of aggravated assault. No public reporting has linked this incident to any religious or political affiliation. Case is currently being handled. A 15-year-old ruined his life. Why? We have a mental ill problem and we have a gun problem. But since the powers that be won't address the gun problem, it's making it harder for people to get guns, making it harder for mentally ill to get guns. We're going to continue to have a gun problem. Continue to have a gun problem, continue to have a mentally ill problem, and nobody wants to address that. Okay? They don't want to address it at all. Nobody want to talk about it. Who the hell want to talk about mentally ill and what the hell they need to do? Okay? I have pictures of these people, but ain't no point in having a picture of these people. You know, did the president make any kind of public statements? He made a public statement about this Mormon church. The epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. Right? All of these. And the temperature is not getting lowered. Okay? We're trying to lower the temperature in this United States. We're trying not to ratchet it up, but it seems to keep getting ratcheted up by the powers that be. It would be a different story if a person said, cool it down. Everybody cool it down. Let's stop doing this, right? But they won't. So now we have this problem, and so hopefully somebody does something. I mean, the only people that are going to stop these people in Washington is going to be us as a people, us as a collective. Because they don't have, these people are craven. They're craven in what they do. They craven in what they care about. And they don't care about the little man. They don't concern themselves about a little man. They concern themselves about money and keeping power. And they don't want to touch the Second Amendment. Here's my question. Everybody hollering about the Second Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment. The president say he gonna make it so that he can change amendments. So I'm going to advocate for the if the president can change the 14th Amendment when it comes to birthright, I'm gonna see if a Democratic president can change the Second Amendment when it comes to regarding guns. If the president can change the birthright citizenship or have a challenge that, then we're gonna figure out how we can challenge the Second Amendment. Because I'm sick of going someplace and finding kids that are broke off. Kids that are broke off for no reason whatsoever. Just because people don't want to give up the gun rights, don't want to deal with the mentally ill, don't want to build facilities to take care of the mentally ill. Okay? And I get it. People don't want to give it a gun, but something's going to have to be done. It's been more than these kids. There's been more than these happening, since Charlie. It's been more than that. I just didn't read them all. You've been plenty more. Okay? We don't know their political affiliation. You can guess or you can think you can guess. But it's going to be tailored against the left for some god awful reason. The right can't seem to take accountability for them wanting to have guns still on the street when we can do something about that. We can make gun laws safer. We can do some checks and balances so mentally ill can't get these kind of guns. These things, some things can be done. Okay. Just don't want to do it. Just don't want to do it. Okay. So we're gonna have people doing X, Y, and Z. It is what it is. So we can have a discussion about guns, but for this next thing, I turn to what is her name? Jasmine Crockett. That's her name. Jasmine Crockett. Why is it that people want to attack Jasmine Crockett? What's going on that Jasmine Crockett keeps getting attacked by the right? So, James Comey isn't that. So, they try to attack this young lady. They always try to attack this young lady who is just speaking her mind. She's a truth teller, one of those people, one of those same people that they didn't like. You didn't like Charlie talking. People like Charlie talking. So why did they get upset? Why did you get upset when she talks? Y'all didn't mind Charlie saying the stuff he was saying. Didn't nobody mind that? Nobody minded that man saying whatever he wanted to say. Nobody minded anything. So why is it that y'all worried about what she say? What's her name? Laura Loomer. Called Jasmine something. Why is it that every time we talk, a black woman talks, y'all want to get on the horn and call her ghetto? Why is it every time one of us talk, you want to get on the horn and call us ghetto when you don't like what we say? Okay? Because every time they don't like what she says, they get on here and call her ghetto. I don't understand. Why is there such jealousy against this woman? You can't beat her arguments because I haven't seen one person beat her argument when she has an argument.
U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett clapped back at MAGA conservative podcaster Laura Loomer after the ally of President Donald Trump unleashed a racist and sexist attack on the Texas Congresswoman. While attending an event during Congressional Black Caucus Week in
Yeah, she is jealous of her. I haven't seen her get ghetto on the floor. So you don't have any reason. What else? What other thing did she say? She don't say nothing else but ghetto. That's what y'all love to call us black women, is ghetto. That's the problem. You don't have any other argument except ghetto. Come with a different argument, then we wouldn't have a problem. But if you call her ghetto and you don't have an argument, I say you're jealous.
Washington, D.C., Crockett briefly addressed the personal online attacks, and in true Jasmine Crockett fashion, it came in the form of wit and shade. I know that some think that I am, younger than I am, but just so y'all know, I am 12 years older than Laura Loomer, said the 44-year-old Congresswoman, according to a video of Crockett's remarks posted.
What argument did you give me, sickle cell soldier? So there's a reason for somebody to call her ghetto? There's a reason that they call her ghetto? Why do you worry about calling her ghetto? Why don't you try to fight her arguments? That's the respect I would like to see. Give the woman the respect. She can be as ghetto as she wants to be. Refute her argument. See, that's the problem. If you don't refute her argument, I have no respect. I don't care how you present it. I don't care how the argument is presented. Beat the argument. Beat the argument. Don't talk about whether she ghetto or not. Beat the argument. If you can't beat the argument, shut the fuck up. Beat the argument that the lady presents. I'm going to beat your argument. I'm not going to worry about calling you a name. She doesn't attack anybody until you attack her. And even if she did, you can't beat her argument. That's the problem. Nobody wants to beat her argument. They just want to call her ghetto. Like that makes her argument
posted on social media. Loomer is 32. The crowd immediately burst into laughter and applause as Crockett gazed into the audience. Seconds later, she added insult to injury, apparently referring to Loomer's face. And to be clear, there is no Botox. Crockett's remarks about Loomer appear to be her first public response after Loomer took to X to call Crockett a ghetto black bitch and a racist hood rat. Loomer had responded to Crockett's criticism of white Democrats who voted for a resolution honoring Charlie Kirk, who was fatally shot on the campus of Utah Valley University.
She doesn't need to use ghetto to get the approval of Black America. She's an articulate Black woman. She already has our approval. That's what you all don't get. She doesn't need to pretend to be ghetto. She doesn't need to pretend to be ghetto. That's what you don't get. She's a Black woman who can be ghetto when she wants to, who can be articulate when she wants to. That means she's versatile, which means she can go from here to there. We don't see, that's the thing. We don't care whether she goes from being that from there to there. We know she can go from there to there. Mark your mother.
Charlie Kirk suspect's grandma says family is all MAGA. Can assure you that the 22-year-old man, Tyler Robinson, that murdered Charlie Kirk is not MAGA.
Trump called for a crackdown on the radical left, but right-wing extremists are responsible for more political violence.
All of the evidence that is being presented proves that he is a far leftist.
He creates a fictional problem while downplaying the real history of far-right violence against the American public, from the Oklahoma City bombing to January 6th.
I just want to give a warning there. We're not going to tolerate that anymore.
So I don't see any ghetto action at all. I see her speaking like she's supposed to be speaking on the House floor. That's what I see. I don't remember her getting outrageous or anything else on the House floor.
Recognize Ms. Crockett for unanimous consent.
Yes, Mr. Chair, since I wasn't allowed equal time to debate.
It don't matter whether she grew up in the hood, sickle cell. She understands the hood. That's what y'all don't get. That's just dumb. Stop talking dumb to me, please.
Debate. I have a UC. It is from, it looks like Yahoo News. It says, Charlie Kirk suspect's grandma says family is all MAGA.
Without objection, so ordered. Chair recognizes Ms. Green from Georgia.
Mr. Chair, remember I have a UC as well.
We'll recognize you.
They can't help themselves, Mary. They can't help themselves. The Republicans don't want to take accountability for the trash that's on their side. They want to point out our trash, but they don't ever want to point out their trash. That's the problem I have with the right. That's the problem I have with it.
Next time. Chair, Ms. Green, it's your 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can assure you that the 22-year-old man, Tyler Robinson, that murdered Charlie Kirk is not MAGA. His family may be Republican, but all of the evidence that is being presented proves that he is a far leftist, very much integrated in online groups that are linked to Antifa. He was in a relationship.
See how they use all the talking points, right? You see how they keep saying Antifa, extreme left. No, there's no proof that boy was doing anything on the extreme left. But this is how they look at it. This is how they want to frame it. And then a lot of y'all fall into that framing of that. Nobody said anything. He never said anything about what he did and what he didn't. You're goofy, sickle cell. You're wild.
Relationship with a biological male.
You haven't heard me present her talking ghetto at all. She's not ghetto at all. She knows how to speak ghetto. That's your problem. Didn't we just tell you she can come from a rich neighborhood, but that don't mean she don't understand being ghetto or she doesn't understand how to act ghetto. And it's not a change of her personality. It's just a part of her. Most of us can act that way. Most of us can switch from one or the other. That doesn't mean it's not our entire. Just dumb, sickle cell.
So-called furry, whatever that is transitioning to be a fake woman. He was not MAGA, not one bit. That is a complete lie. And it's an insult to every single Republican and person that identifies with those type of politics. We will not tolerate it. And that is the exact type.
Y'all just mad that y'all see a black woman who opens her mouth and speaks. That don't mean she's ghetto. That means nothing. Y'all just can't accept the fact that she opens her mouth and speaks. That's all. See, Dinger, if you follow the trends, you'll know that's not even going to happen if you follow the trends.
Type of language that is getting many.
She speaks well, just fine. She speaks just fine. She speaks just fine. She speaks well enough to be in that chamber. And I haven't seen her step out of line yet, Gregor. Please listen to the tape, okay? She never makes a fool of herself. She makes a fool of the right.
Many of us death threats day after day, and led to shootings on the baseball field where Steve Scalise was shot. This is what led to President Trump nearly being assassinated this past summer. This is what has led to Charlie Kirk being assassinated. And so I just want to give a warning there. We're not going to tolerate that anymore.
Hit dogs holler. Hit dogs holler. They don't like the way she speaks to them. They don't like the way she brings the truth to them. Unfortunately, I can't help it. Just like you can't help how Charlie spoke racist language to the other people. We can't help it that you think she speaks ghetto. It's the same dog. Same thing.
More. Something else we're not going to tolerate is crime. On August 11th, President Trump announced major steps to address the out-of-control crime in the district. Thank God, because this is my 5th year in Congress, and living in D.C. and working here has been a nightmare. It is. The crime is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And let's talk about some of that. Since President Trump thankfully brought in the National Guard, carjackings have decreased by 87%. Nearly 1,200 people have been arrested, including known members of MS.
Because they can't dispute her argument. If you can't dispute the woman's argument, shut the fuck up. The point is, you have a right-wing person called Laura Loomer, who is calling her ghetto in the chambers. And that's a problem. Who the fuck do you think you are? You put it out there, so accept it back. Okay, hopefully you ain't talking to me, Alfonso, because I ain't the one. No, I'm saying, dispute the argument, sir. Dispute the argument. They just mad because she's saying, Charlie said what he wanted to say. Y'all love what Charlie say, and a lot of people say he's racist. So take your L for your Charlie, and we'll take Jasmine. Take your L for your racist Charlie Kirk, and we'll take our ghetto Jasmine. That's all. You don't like her. You don't like Jasmine. You don't like us calling Charlie Kirk racist. So, and we don't care whether you call Jasmine ghetto. So take your Charlie. Yeah, your Charlie is the best of y'all. That is the best of y'all. Because the rest of y'all are trash.
13 and Tren de Aragua. Those are both foreign terrorist organizations. By the way, many of them came across the border while Democrats controlled this country in the past 4 years.
And there goes that other talking point that you all seem to like so much. No accountability ever on the right-hand side. No accountability whatsoever. That's what I don't like. When people don't take accountability for the shit they do and the shit they say. Don't ever. It's a beautiful thing. It sure is, Gregor. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. We had Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly said something about Jamila Hill and Charlie Kirk. Okay. So I wanted to hear what what was her thoughts? Okay. What was her thoughts, Charlie Kirk? You wish, Gregor, you wish, sir, you wish. Okay. Let's see. What was this? Here we go. Let me put this on here. Let me add this. Okay. How do we get started?
Because I am doing this also live on YouTube right now, but don't worry. If you
I got one of those, Miguel. Of course I'm because I'm crying like one. We can't take another 3 years of this bullshit in the White House. We just can't.
You have not been able to.
You wish, Gregor, all those immigrants, all them immigrant people you think that vote, they damn sure ain't voting for this president. You mean they coming the other way, Gregor?
Catch it on YouTube. This will be available on
iHeart. You're the one that needs to get an argument, sickle cell. You're the one that needs to give an argument.
This is the final episode for this season of Politics, a season that I am extremely proud of. And this is sort of the season ender. Now, I hate that
you're just dumb, Gregor, just dumb.
That this season is sort of ending in this way, just based off the subject of what I'm going to talk about today. This has been quite the week for a lot of people. And it's been marred by a lot of tragedy, marred by a lot of senselessness. This has just been a exceptionally emotional time for all of us that are living right now. And so by that, of course, I'm referring to the school shooting that happened in Colorado, also referring to the unfortunate and tragic murder of Charlie Kirk. And not even 24 hours ago, as of the recording of this, we had another shooting incident at a naval yard. So violence seems to be all around us, but we can pretend as if that's unique, but unfortunately, this is kind of every day in America. But I want to, of course, start with talking about Charlie Kirk for a number of reasons. Charlie Kirk is somebody who gained a lot of fame, a lot of influence. He's one of the most prominent conservative influencers. He was shot and killed at Utah Valley State in what was, as much as we may have been accustomed to violence in this country, to see something like that.
I don't smoke retard. Yeah, and we not losing. we done won all the elections since then. Jesus, just dumb, Gregor, just dumb. Just like a MAGA don't read.
And especially if you are online. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we did see some of the more really stark and horrible visuals that came from what happened to him. It was certainly, again, something that you can't unsee, something that is etched in your brain to see somebody murdered in such a violent and horrible way. And especially at a time in our country where everything feels so divisive and feels so volatile, Charlie Kirk, as he was known to do, was at Utah Valley State to engage with students, as he, again, is known to do as the co-founder of Turning Point USA.
Right.
His influence in the right-wing space cannot be overstated. Like, he's one of the primary right-wing influencers who helped Donald Trump helped deliver the young conservative vote to Donald Trump, especially when it came to young white men. And so to see somebody just murdered in that fashion, it was really, it was really devastating. And I feel like I'm not even putting that into words correctly. And so, of course, now many of you have heard the news. The latest is that they have apprehended the suspect. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, I believe that is his name. And for Charlie Kirk's family, for those who loved him, I'm sure that gives them a sense of peace, although nothing obviously can replace a human being. But at least there is some level of justice that will be there for the Kirk family and for those who loved him.
Right.
Now, of course, in the days since, there have been a lot of discourse. There has been a lot of anger, and not anger in the sense of.
I'm playing this because this is what Megyn Kelly responded to. Okay, responded to and insulted her for no reason because she was making this commentary regarding Charlie Kirk. So that's why I'm playing this part. Most people may not have heard it, but that's what
anger in the sense, obviously, of what happened to Charlie Kirk, but also a lot of anger between both the left, both the right, the left and right, I should say. Anger kind of bubbling all around the situation for a variety of reasons. And I think especially at this time, and it was why I took a few days before I even wanted to say anything really publicly of substance. It's interesting to me, as just a slight side note as I go further, that there are legions of people who tell me all the time, and I think you know who these people are, who tell me all the time about how my opinion doesn't matter, about how I'm irrelevant, I'm all these things, and yet they're blowing up all my social media feeds because they want to know all of a sudden, what do I think about what happened to Charlie Kirk? Well, first and foremost, I think what happened to him was terrible. And beyond that, I'm thinking about his young children, his wife, and the fact that his young children one day, just with a quick Google search, just by going on YouTube, that they are going to see in Technicolor what happened to their father.
Right.
And that's something I wouldn't wish on anybody. Now, all that being said, there has been a startling different reaction among communities about how to properly put into context who Charlie Kirk was, what his cultural placement was, and for that matter, to discuss what he believed and try to discuss this in a manner in which is truthful, but also respectful. And just in the aftermath already, we have seen a number of people lose their jobs
right
over what they have said about Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Now, some of the reasons that people have lost their jobs, frankly, I have an issue with. Some of them, I kind of understand why they did. And I want people to be able to approach this awful, tragic thing that happened with a little bit, not a little bit, I shouldn't even say a little bit, with a lot of nuance, because that is what this requires. Now, I'm sure you all know, if you follow me for any length of time, that you know some of my positions, political, social, cultural positions. There is nothing at all I had in common with Charlie Kirk. Not one thing, other than we're both human beings. That was it. Our political views, our social views, our cultural views, our religious views were completely opposite. And obviously, just on a human level, what happened to him,
right,
despite our intense levels of being on opposite sides of things, and I thought that he pretty much was on the wrong side of history with everything he said.
Y'all better leave Erica Kirk alone. That chick got a plan. Y'all better leave her alone. She got a plan. Okay? She in look. She got a plan.
Despite all that, I have enough compassion and sense to understand why what happened to him was wrong, and why that needs to be a serious wake-up call for this country in a lot of ways, and not just related to his unfortunate murder, or not just about the gun violence part of it. The gun violence part, to me, is obvious. Like, clearly America has a problem with gun violence. Within hours of this happening to Charlie Kirk, the shooting that happened in Colorado, where young people lost their lives yet again, which is it is a staple in this country, that children go to school and they can't feel safe. That has become a complete staple in
they go to church, now they can't feel safe. What's going on with this country?
And so we know the pervasiveness of the gun problem in this country. And so that's one layer of it. The other layer of it is our divisive politics. And I'm putting politics in air quotes. And for those who are listening to the audio version of this on iHeart and can't see it, yes, I put up the two fingers with both of my hands. I put politics in air quotes because while we can certainly be appalled at what happened to Charlie Kirk, as I am, as many are,
right,
I think there needs to be a serious conversation about what legacy means in this moment. And what I have seen is that there has been a real sanitizing effect about Charlie Kirk's influence in our culture.
Right.
And I'm going to try to say this as respectfully as I can. And I want people to really hear me, because we have this odd way of not understanding how to process multiple things at once. We know how to process multiple things at once. It's just sometimes we choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
I am appalled at what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be murdered.
Mm-hmm.
He did not deserve to lose.
That's just dumb, Gregor. That's just dumb. Nobody's rioting because somebody died. Just dumb. Just dumb. Stay on the right side, because you too dumb to be on my side.
Lose his family. His family didn't deserve to lose him. His wife, his friends, his loved ones. Nobody deserved that. I want to be unequivocally clear about this.
Right.
But that being said, I'm not going to lie about Charlie Kirk's legacy. I'm not going to lie about his impact. And I'm not going to certainly gloss over and sanitize the things that he said. And it seems like in this moment where people have the right to mourn, but people also have the right to not mourn.
Right.
And if you notice, there's a lot of Black people who aren't exactly mourning. They're not celebrating, but they're not certainly going to mourn. And we have seen this sometimes when complicated figures die. The most recent example I could think of was Queen Elizabeth. Certainly there was a nation, a global world, a global community that mourned the loss of Queen Elizabeth.
Right.
But there were people, especially Africans, who did not mourn the passing of Queen Elizabeth.
Right.
And what we need to do in this moment is give people the right to mourn, or to reflect, or to put this incident in perspective however they want to.
Right.
And I think what is annoying, or at least rankling a lot of people, especially Black folks, is that they're being villainized, or not even just Black folks. I'm not just going to limit this to a conversation about Black and white. There are a lot of people who didn't just disagree with Charlie Kirk, but were just vehemently opposed to some of the things that he said.
Right.
And it's like people are trying to force them into feeling a way that they don't.
Right.
Again, we can all agree that this was murder and it was terrible and it's something that should never happen in our country.
Right.
But don't force people to feel something that they don't feel.
Which is my feeling exactly. Which is what I said, I think I expressed when Charlie Kirk died. I didn't know Charlie Kirk, so quite frankly, I don't care whether he's alive or I don't give a shit one way or the other, right? Because I didn't know him like that. But people who did know him didn't feel the need to mourn him. So you can't try to shame people into not mourning for a person that we don't care about. And we never knew anything about this person. Most people didn't know nothing about him except you online people or you white people. A lot of Black people I talked to didn't even know who he was. They had heard of certain things, but they never really got into it. So you can't be mad at us that we don't care whether the man died or not. You can't be mad at us. He's a human being. We concern ourselves about a human being, but we don't concern ourselves about, oh, Charlie, oh, Charlie, oh, Charlie. No, we don't have that feeling for Charlie. Okay? You can't make people have feelings for people. Y'all didn't have feelings for George Floyd. So why should we have to have feelings for Charlie? I don't understand that. Okay. I'm saying hi to everybody who came in. Hello, Mr. Cool Kid, Knight, Georgie, Ty Pro. If I miss your name, I'm so sorry. Can't help you. Knights, Ryan, Erica, Black, Hakeem, okay, all of that. Miguel, Steven, Convergence. Thank y'all. Just goofy. Miguel, Sickle Cell. Okay, I can't stand you, Sickle Cell, because you keep talking, but that's okay. You can keep talking. I ain't going to block you. I don't care. Ivan Curry, Karen, Maya, Hare, Descartes, Mark, Miguel again, Sickle Cell. Hello, what's good? Gregor, Jesus. We got to fight. Life, Adrian. Man, you coming up with some arguments, bro. What's going on? Alfonso, Kyle, Didi, Aaron, okay, Gregor, okay, Gary, Rose. I see you. I see y'all. Gary, Rainbow Kid, hey. Black America, I don't need no help. Term, Ian, I see y'all. Tyrell, I see you. Who was that weird name? Just Girl Dad Cooking Up Deliciousness. I see you. Alice Tyrell, Soundwave. I see y'all. Please hit this like button, hit the hate button, whichever one you feel like doing. Like or hate. I'd love for you to subscribe. And we talk about all kinds of weird topics. We talk about race over here. We don't care one way or the other, just as long as you're respectful. T-Mac, Rose, as long as you're respectful. Call in, have an opinion. I don't care. I'll listen to it. I'm just listening. We doing this thing today? Okay, I'm so confused. Confused about what? What you confused about, Repink? Project Leroy? What's going on?
Especially when Charlie Kirk did real damage with his words. Real damage. And while some people say, or they have this mentality, or at least, their own compass tells them, hey, you shouldn't talk ill of the dead. I guess. I mean, the thing is, if I go, I want y'all to tell the truth about me, whatever that truth may be.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. And so, like, seeing people being villainized and castigated because they don't want to celebrate Charlie Kirk, I think is really, in its own way, being insensitive. Because, listen, if there is a reluctance, especially in Black America, to at all celebrate Charlie Kirk, or at all, celebrate and mourn Charlie Kirk, there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, his own words are a big reason. Some of the things that he has said about Black Americans, like if I read you guys this list, and I told you this very same person was somebody that they lowered the flags for, somebody that got a moment of silence at.
Gregor celebrated the death. You had more white people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Stop it. More you white people. Most Black people didn't even know who he was. And let's not forget, your ass was over there celebrating George Floyd's death. See, this is the disingenuous I don't like on the right. The right, y'all got a right to mock and say all kinds of bullshit about George Floyd or anybody else that's Black. But when somebody say something about your precious baby boy, Charlie Kirk, y'all ready to cancel folks. No, take your L. Charlie Kirk take his L. You take his L, just like we had to take George Floyd's L. You take your L and shut the fuck up. Don't worry about what we doing over here. Shut the fuck up. Take your L for your guy, and we'll take the L for us. It don't matter whether he was a career criminal or not. You all still celebrated his death. Dick. Just dumb. That's why I don't like the disingenuousness on that side.
The Thursday night Packers Washington Commanders game, somebody who who
They both were human beings. That's what I'm trying to say to you. They're both human beings. Neither one of them deserved to die. It don't matter what he did. He didn't deserve to die the way he died. George, Gregor, Jesus, just dumb. Why is that so difficult to say? Charlie Kirk was not liked by everybody. So everybody had an opinion to like him or not like him. Just like they had an opinion to like Floyd and not like Floyd. You don't like Floyd. Okay, fine. I don't give a shit. People don't like Charlie Kirk. Fine. I don't give a shit. But you can't freaking have outrage over Charlie, but not outrage over George Floyd. Just
the lawmakers are talking about lying in state. People, if I said this to somebody and then I read his words without telling you who he was, you probably would think I was insane for saying it.
Right.
Case in point, this is just some of the things that Charlie Kirk said. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. If you're a WNBA pot-smoking black lesbian, you get treated better than a United States Marine. He was, of course, referring to Brittany Griner when she was detained in Russia.
Right.
Happening all the time in urban America, prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman.
That's your problem, Insomniac. That's your problem. Cherry pick what? What are we cherry picking? I don't understand. You don't even understand what you're saying. Cherry pick what? That makes no sense. Cherry pick what? It doesn't matter whether he was a career criminal or not. He still didn't deserve to get killed. That's what my stance is. I don't care what your stance is. Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to die the way he died either.
I wonder, is she there because of her excellence or is she there because of affirmative action?
That was one of the things that got on people's nerve, because you seem to think inherently that because the person is black, they're not qualified. I don't know, Erica. I don't know. I was looking at that too.
I would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks. We would have been called racist. Now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
We're not actually talking about him. We're talking about her getting attacked because she spoke about Charlie. Eileen, hello, Eileen. Hello. We're talking about her getting attacked because she spoke her truth about Charlie Kirk, not Charlie Kirk.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. These are Charlie Kirk's own words. So why are you badgering people about whether or not they mourn Charlie Kirk? And I think it's completely fair.
No, DEI was born out of affirmative action. It's not exactly affirmative action. Affirmative action is I ain't even finna get into that until
when you remember somebody, whether it be Charlie Kirk, anybody who it is completely fair for you to consider the totality of their legacy and not just the parts
that you like. That you like.
Or not just the parts that make the
we don't get to when a person dies and you remember a person, you don't get to pick and choose what you like. This is what he said that affected these people. This is what he said that affected those people. You don't get to choose what affected me that Charlie Kirk said. Don't nobody get to choose what affected me about what that man said. That man said what he said. If that man said X, Y, and Z, then you can't tell me how I'm affected by what he said. That's what the problem is. People are trying to make you feel guilty because you don't love. Oh, Charlie, we don't love him like y'all love him. You don't get to decide how I feel about Charlie Kirk. Charlie, you feel about Charlie Kirk how you want to feel. Bye, Air.
The person look better. So this sanitizing of trying to reinvent Charlie Kirk as just a vigilant Christian who fought for political speech and who was just a political activist, that's not right, because that is not all he was, and that is not all he said, and that was not his only impact. Yes, of course, he did galvanize young white conservative voters. That was one part of it. But it's how he galvanized them and what he said to galvanize them that also matters.
Right.
Because context matters in terms of who you are as a person.
Right.
Context matters in terms of how people remember you.
Right.
And so when I think about the fact that MSNBC fired political analyst Matthew Dowd because he surfaced some of the things that Charlie Kirk said, and he also talked about the complications of his legacy, that, yeah, he was a very influential person in those circles, but he also gained and created that influence off a lot of really awful and hateful rhetoric. Nita?
I'm just saying, you all see how Charlie Kirk's legacy affected people differently. He affected people differently. If you like Charlie Kirk, then you have an interpretation of Charlie Kirk that is your interpretation. That's the way you received him. Within your mind and heart, that's the way you received him. And I validate that. I stand behind that. But I also stand behind the people who say he was a racist. To them, they accepted him as that person in their heart, in their mind. So I can't tell you that they're invalid in what they think. Their response to him, their receiving of him, is just as valid as your receiving. And here's the thing, which I can't get past, which is always the way I've always thought. Whose problem is it whose problem is it the way I received what you said? You all keep saying that Charlie wasn't racist. He didn't mean that. Okay. Whose problem was it that I received his word as a racist bigot? Why didn't Charlie do better? If he wasn't a racist bigot, why didn't he express himself better so I would understand that he wasn't being racist? Whose problem was it that I took Charlie's words as a racist, being a racist bigot? Whose fault was it? Was it Charlie's fault, or do I believe my lying ears? It's up to the person who is communicating what they say for them to be clear and concise in what they are conveying. Charlie conveyed love, peace, and harmony to you, but to other people, he portrayed hatred, bigotry, and homophobia to them. So are you the one that's right? Or is the person who got the other message right? That's not for nobody to say. You can't say she received the hateful message and she's wrong. And she can't say that because you said you got a loving message from him, that you're wrong. Both of you guys are right. That's the whole point. It was up to Charlie in order to convey what he wanted to say. He needed to make sure that he was not portrayed as a bigot or racist or whatever. It was up to him. But that wasn't the way he came across to people. So the way they're taking him is not wrong.
I remind you, as we're having this discussion about what's allowable when somebody dies or when something bad happens to you, need I remind you of what Charlie Kirk...
Hey, name, fuck you. Mimi, Jason, go take a flying leap. The whole point is you didn't listen to a freaking thing that... Yes, it does make sense. It was up to him to convey that he was X, Y, and Z. If you didn't listen to your own message, did you listen to your own message? Did you make sure that your message wasn't offending people? He didn't, because he knew it was offending people. He knew what he was putting out there. He knew that. So it was up to him to disarm these people, to let these people know, no, I'm not portraying myself as a bigot. I'm not coming across as bigot. I'm saying this because of X, Y, and Z. But he didn't. He was received both ways. And both crowds interpreted him differently. So he didn't make a distinction. Okay, well, I'm gonna do this. But I believe he knew what he was doing. I believe he knew what he was portraying, what he was conveying. Most people just didn't know. He knew what he was doing. He was too smart to know what he was not. He knew what he was portraying. You just got people out here just don't want to see that.
What he said about Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was attacked in their home.
And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out
yes, y'all hit the like button, hit the hate button, hit the like button, hit whatever button you like. Okay. Ain't nobody making shit up. This woman ain't making shit up. She's telling her truth. I don't need to show proof. She's telling her truth. I don't have any truth. I don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk. I don't have no nothing. I don't care one way or the other. This is the lady's truth. She's saying he wasn't all sweetness and light to her. You're saying you're saying fucking butterflies came out of his ass. So you think Charlie didn't know that you felt like butterflies came out of his ass? And you think he didn't know that he had a bias? No, I don't have a bias. I don't care one way or the other.
there in
Oh, it's not only one truth. It's many truths.
San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like 30 or 40,000 bucks. Bail him out.
Go bail out Nancy Pelosi's hammer guy. Go bail out Nancy Pelosi's hammer guy. So you thought that was a good thing that he would say? Go bail out Nancy Pelosi's husband's attacker? You thought that was a good thing? Oh, Charlie Kirk, that's so good. You're so nice. Go bail out the dude that was bashing in Nancy Pelosi's husband. Really? That was a good man to y'all? Really? He was attacked by a hammer. Really? So that's a good man, right? That's a good man. Just wild. I'm saying this is not my truth. This is other people's
Out
truth.
and then go ask him some questions. And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like 30 or 40,000 bucks. Bail him out.
No. I don't understand how, wait a minute. I don't understand how I'm contradicting myself. I can have an opinion about him calling for Nancy Pelosi's husband to get hammered. That's just a human thing. Sure, I'm racist, Mark. Sure, I'm racist. Absolutely. Sure, I'm racist. That's just dumb. I don't think I've expressed anything about black or white at all.
And then go ask him some questions.
Now, I played that twice just because I wanted to make sure.
No, that's still according to them, that's a good man who would say something like that. According to them, that's a good man who would say that. A good man would say, go bail out the person that tried to beat somebody in the head to death. Really? That's what y'all call a good man? That's not. What? What do you mean? I don't want to get into the weeds with y'all. They don't even make sense to me. You all said this was a good man. You all said that. What person would say something like that? What person? What good Christian? What are we doing? But now you want me? No, don't hold me to jack shit. Don't hold me to jack shit. No good person would say that. No decent human being would say that. Oh yeah, let me go get that person out of jail after they beat somebody's head in. Oh, let me go get that person out of jail when they stepped on their neck. Jesus, what the hell you mean? And I ain't said nothing about black or white, so I'm not just no, nobody. This nobody looks at him like he's a saint, because he's not a saint. He's just another normal, everyday, average person like everybody else.
That you all heard what he said. Now, that was his response to after Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked by somebody who, by the way, was a Trump supporter. And didn't seem like a whole lot of empathy there or sympathy. Kind of seemed like he was making light of somebody else who could have been killed by a home intruder. And
we hate you too, Billy Bob.
I've said this to other people.
Movies too. I hate your movies too. Get the hell on.
Before, and never before has it really been more perfect to say now. The empathy you deny will be the empathy that you need one day. I promise you that. And that is why I try.
What do you mean play all the whole minutes? What do you mean? Why is it that every person that come in here and want to defend Charlie Kirk get to talking crazy about context? Get to talking crazy about context. We can hear, we get the context. What you mean? Play the whole minutes or you are just a manipulator. I didn't play jack shit. She played that. What you mean the context? She know the context. You can hear the context. What do you mean? The nuance. What do you mean? There's some more that he need to say about getting him out of jail? There's some more context I don't understand? By somebody calling for somebody to get the man out of jail? What? How the hell am I taking anybody? How the hell is anybody taking that out of context? That he asked that Nancy Pelosi's husband get out of jail. What kind of fucking context is that? That's so different. Every time one of you Charlie Kirk defenders, apologists come up in here, you always say context. We don't need no context. That damn clip right there, I don't need no context. He said, bail Nancy Pelosi's husband's attacker out of jail. What context do I need? That don't even make no sense. Y'all stop saying, do me a favor, Charlie Kirk fans. Stop saying context. Stop saying context. Because we get the context already. We done seen the videos time after time again. We don't need no context. We understand the context. He said, get Nancy Pelosi, the person who hit Nancy Pelosi's husband on the head with a hammer, get bail money for that. You don't need no context for that? What context? Stop it. Don't nobody need no context. The hell you mean context?
I could certainly carry myself and have empathy and compassion.
Wait a minute, hold on.
In jail. Why is he?
Let's go back.
Gained and created that.
I'm gonna show you again I'm show you again what he said. What context?
Influence off a lot of really awful and hateful rhetoric. Need I remind you, as we're having this discussion about what's allowable when somebody dies or when something bad happens to you, need I remind you of what Charlie Kirk, what he said about Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was attacked in their home?
And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out?
Why is he in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? What context did I need before that? Why hasn't Nancy Pelosi's attacker been bailed out of jail? Did Nancy Pelosi's attacker go into Nancy them house and then Nancy them attacked him? And then he had to attack them? Was there some other thing that came before that? That man went into Nancy Pelosi them house and attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband. What context? And he's asking for the person to be bailed out. What context need to be said after that? No, Moy, you're an idiot. And you're an idiot because y'all never take accountability. God, why these people, y'all never take accountability, people on the right.
Never. If some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco.
Amazing patriot in San Francisco. What amazing patriot. Why would he consider somebody who gave Charlie Kirk's attacker an amazing patriot? What? Yes, definition of an idiot is M. Moy. Everybody, look it up.
Or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero. Someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like 30 or 40,000 bucks. Bail him out and then go ask him some questions. And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area.
You just dumb, Lamoy. You just dumb. You just dumb.
Wants to really be a midterm hero. Someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like 30 or 40,000.
Response, we should be fine with being able to repeat those same words.
We don't need more context. We got the context. We understand the context. This is the whole point is you all think Charlie walked on water. The rest of us didn't. He was just another human being who spoke and got people riled up. And he spoke his truth. Great, fine, speak your truth. Okay, we're going to do that. Hold on.
And we're thinking about the totality
of
his legacy.
Y'all.
Because there were problematic things that he did and said. What he said about Black people, what he said about women, what he said about those in the queer community. He said a lot of very problematic, disgusting, and despicable things about all of those communities. And the reason he was labeled a white supremacist is because he believed in the superiority of white people, which is why he said that he would be concerned if he saw a Black pilot.
Hold on. Every one of you MAGIs who come in here and want to give me some bullshit about context. I don't need no context. You don't need no context when you hear somebody say, hold on. Let me look. I'm finna put this on here because I want to hear the whole context. Here we go.
Between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault. Of course you should reject any link. Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame?
Tonight, sources tell us the suspect, 42-year-old David DePompe, carried zip ties and duct tape with him, an eerie parallel to the Capitol riot when some entered the building with zip ties. In another parallel, police have said the suspect yelled, "Where's Nancy?" when he entered the house.
What's up, everybody? Major retired Richard Ojeda here, and here goes Charlie opening his mouth, and a wormhole comes out, just flinging nonsense at the viewers.
Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame for gay schizophrenic nudists that are hemp jewelry makers breaking into somebody's home, or maybe not breaking into somebody's home? Why are we to blame for that exactly?
This is the context. This is what he said before and after. This is the context right here. So y'all explain to me this context.
Here's the thing. First off, they have a lot of interest in the idea that this guy was a nudist and used hemp to make jewelry, both of which are not indicative of mental illness. It may not be your...
Give me the context. Here it is.
Amazing patriot out there in San Francisco.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Them captive. Authorities now combing through the suspect's social media pages, some allegedly showing multiple false conspiracy theories about the 2020 election.
By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like 30 or 40,000 bucks. Bail him out and then go Ask him some questions.
Second, Charlie Kirk just asked viewers, describing them as amazing patriots, to bail out someone who committed serious acts of violence against a member of the government. Please let that sink in. I know there's a lot that gets tossed at us on a daily basis, but just think about that.
I wonder what his bail is. They're going after him with attempted murder, political assassination, all this sort of stuff. I'm not qualifying it. I think it's awful. It's not right. But why is it that in Chicago, you're able to commit murder and be out the next day? Why is it that you're able to trespass, second-degree murder, arson, threat of public official, cashless bail? This happens all over San Francisco. But if you go after the Pelosi's, oh, you're let out immediately.
This guy, one of the weasel poster boys for the MAGA GOP, just co-signed onto letting a violent criminal out of jail. Imagine that. The same talking points that the entire GOP is selling every hour on the hour about Democrats letting all the criminals free. Well, here's Charlie asking his viewers to do just that. It's almost as if they don't act in good faith and don't mean a single thing that they say. It's almost, and believe me, I don't really know how anyone can take this seriously, but I do know that are right around this entirely different, forget everything good news.
Top Republicans reject any link between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault. Of course you should reject any link. Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame?
Tonight's sources.
Why is the conservative movement to blame? Why is that? Cost him his life. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get the back and the forth. I'm trying to get the beginning. The whole thing. I'm trying to get all of that beginning. Hold on. I'm trying to get it all. Because y'all said it was something different than what he said. Why would you call the person a patriot? I don't know. Let me look at it. Let me look for it. And then while we listen to the rest of what she has to say, let me look for it. Cause I'm curious now. I gotta know. Now we gotta know.
Is why he said that he questioned the brain processing of brilliant minds such as Joy Ann Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson, because he ultimately believed in the superiority of white people. So I don't think I'm being insensitive by bringing that up. And the only reason I feel like I even need to bring that up is because of the counter narrative that is establishing itself. And that's the problem with history and the problem with receipts, is that you can't erase the receipts. You can't, I learned this a long time ago. And
That's the point, Tyrell. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. The whole point is to dial this shit down. Okay? To dial this shit down. That's the whole point, is to dial this shit down. I'm saying to you, you received Charlie how you wanted to receive Charlie. Other people received Charlie how they wanted to receive Charlie. You received Charlie how what you received is correct. What the other person received is correct. Charlie knew what he was doing. I think I done looked at enough videos to know Charlie knew what he was doing. He wasn't doing this shit just lightly. Okay.
I'm sure you guys have heard this before, is that people don't remember what you do.
I'm just like her. I'm not gonna whitewash what he said. Wait a minute. Where's the clip with him talking about white on white crime? Somebody linked that clip in the chat. Then when he was talking about white on white crime, the way he talked about black on black crime. Y'all, somebody link that in the chat, please. I want to look at that too. When he talked about white on white crime, Mexican on Mexican crime, I want to see that clip. Y'all, please. Cause he was fair and balanced, right? And he talked about fair and balanced shit, right? So there should be a clip of him talking about white on white crime. Somebody link it in the chat, please. I'd love to play that too. Okay. Since he was so balanced on his thinking. Wait, come on. I want to see.
They do. But more importantly, they remember how you made them feel. And Charlie Kirk, with his words and with his influence, he made a lot of people who were not straight white Christian men feel less than human, feel less than qualified, feel a lot of less thans. That's how he made them feel. And that was his entire purpose. So we have room in our big old brains for multiple thoughts, for being upset and angry about what happened to Charlie Kirk, because it says a lot about our political discourse in this moment, but also being reflective enough to surface what also made him somebody whose influence was dangerous in a lot of respect and contributed to the political atmosphere in which we're living now. And before before I sort of move on to a few other things that were on my mind as I thought about this entire tragic incident, I'm tired of white supremacist beliefs being considered a difference of opinion. I'm really sick of that. You know what's the difference of opinion? Is if you like DC and I like Marvel. That's the difference of opinion. If you say Drake is the greatest rapper of all time and I think it's Jay-Z,
right?
That's a difference of opinion.
That's a difference of opinion.
What's not considered a difference of opinion,
right?
If you think Black people are inherently inferior to white people, and I think the opposite, that is not a difference of opinion. That is you being a racist. And we have, unfortunately, put matters of humanity in the bucket of politics where it does not belong.
Absolutely.
See, it's not political to say that Black people are unqualified and inherently criminal. That is not a political belief. That is a white supremacist belief.
Yeah, but they don't understand that. They don't understand that. They think it's a political thing. No, that's a racial thing. Because Charlie Kirk said, what did Charlie Kirk say? Didn't he say that blacks and whites are equal? Didn't he say that?
Pathology to a people, to a construct of race, which is made up, by the way, and made up for the entire and sole purpose of being able to establish who's on top and who's on bottom. But that's a history lesson for another day.
Another day.
But if you don't believe that I am as human as you, that I deserve respect and dignity,
and that's the one thing I'm never going to argue with anybody about. Whether you're inferior or I'm inferior, or my humanity as a human being, I'm never going to argue with anybody about that. I would just completely shut you out. Because this is how he came across. He came across to them like that. So you can't deny my truth or somebody else's truth because you think your truth is the only one that's factual.
Because I'm here, that's not a difference of opinion, and we ain't got shit else to talk about. So this idea that Charlie Kirk, what it boiled down to with him was differing beliefs. It didn't boil down to that. It boiled down to the fact that he out loud and made a living off questioning the humanity and dignity and respect of others. That is how he made his living.
That's how he made.
And we can lie about it, but that's the truth. And he's not the only one that's making that living. So this is not a problem that started over.
Thank you, Vincent Moron McCormick. Thank you. Welcome to the channel, but thank you, Vincent Moron Troglodyte McCormick. Thank you.
Or was created by Charlie Kirk. This is part of our political ecosystem. Is that, people are able to make money off indignity. And so
right.
The fact that it's been trivialized, we're at a point we're so desensitized by the things that we see, by the things that are happening. We're so desensitized by it that we can't even have the guts to call something or understand what's a political belief and what is really someone not believing in people's dignity and humanity. Those are different things. And so as I'm reading all the stuff about and paying attention to how people are talking about and memorializing Charlie Kirk, I'm insulted by the fact that they think his beliefs are just about a difference of opinion. I can live with a difference.
Yes, that's what you all think, that his differences, what he said was just a matter of difference of opinion. No, it was not. No, it was not. You can't explain it to these people.
Difference of opinion. We can be friends over a difference of opinion. Okay.
Right.
You like tomatoes, I don't.
Right.
That's cool. You like your pizza this way, I don't. That's totally fine.
Right.
Oh, I think because you're Black that you don't deserve the same treatment. Gotta stop you right there. That's a different conversation.
Right.
And so what I'm left with when it comes to remembering Charlie Kirk is I'm indifferent. I'm appalled by what happened.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't feel the need or the rush to celebrate, or not celebrate. That's not the word I'm looking for. I don't feel the need to mourn. I just have compassion for his family.
Yeah, and this is where I'm at. I don't feel the need to mourn. I have no feeling about the person whatsoever. I have my own personal feelings about what he said, but I don't hate or like him. I think he was a misguided human being, but you know, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
That's all. It's like I have compassion for his family, and no, I don't. I think it's brutal that a bunch of students at Utah Valley State who were just there to engage in dialogue, and for some hear somebody whose opinion.
See, here's the thing, and I think this is the problem with most people. You don't get to tell me what's racist to me. You don't get to tell me what is racist to me. Okay? That's what you all seem to want to do. You want to tell me what's racist to me. When I say this person said something to me, that's a racist statement, dude. And somebody come over here and say, it's no racist statement, HQ. You don't fucking tell me what I feel like is racist to me. I know what's racist to me when I hear racist to me. You don't get to whitewash what is racist to me. That's what y'all don't get. You don't get to say what's racist to me. We have nothing to do with playing victim. That's what y'all don't get. You don't shame me. You ain't shaming me, redneck. I don't get shamed like that. Stop saying we're victims. Y'all only say that stuff to shame people. I don't get shamed. I know when I see I don't know shit about what porn is, but I know what fucking porn is when I see it. I don't fucking know how to define racism, but I know it when I fucking hear it and when I see it. So don't tell me what racist is, because I know it when I hear it. Hey, Ty Pro. No, Triple X, I'm sorry.
That's all right. How you doing there?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay. What's going on with your old sexy ass?
What's going on? That's the problem.
I'm joking, of course. I don't want to get cussed out. You've been on the road tonight.
That's the problem. Don't tell me if I listen to Charlie Kirk and I say to you, Charlie Kirk spoke to me and what he said was racist. Don't look me in the fucking eyeball and say, no, he ain't speaking racist. He's just speaking the truth. No, fuck you. You speaking racist.
Damn. Woo.
Okay.
You've been
and that's what people. That's why people trying to whitewash what he said.
Yeah.
When he said what he said, I only had to listen to him one good time to say what he said to me about me.
Yeah. I did a lot of research on him since he died, and I've come to that conclusion that that's what in fact he was. You know, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt early on, but I've seen too much that he said. Yeah. Yeah. I can't.
I did.
Only-
I
I
did too.
mean,
I was lit. I
yeah.
went and I was like, okay, let me listen to this.
Right.
Okay.
And
Let me not take
right.
that.
And then
No.
it was kind of fake because he had the attitude like, prove me wrong. But like you said, he just wanted to really debate like late high school or early college kids that didn't really know anything. But he wasn't trying to step to nobody that knew anything. And then when he did, he got roughed up. So he ran back.
Yeah, I looked for him to have. I looked for him to get into debates with certain people. Did you see the debate he was trying to have with Parker goes to work or Parker
You
goes to
know
work?
what? I looked Parker up. I didn't watch the debate yet. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, Parker be getting at him. So do Dean.
Okay.
These are two little white boys that be getting at him. Okay, he didn't want to debate full-fledged debaters because he couldn't, because his talking points. His talking points. What he said. Let me be clear on it. What he said, and I'm being generous. What he said was not racist in itself.
Yeah.
But when you attack the 10 things that I surround myself by, and you try to tear down those 10 things that I surround myself by, I cannot help but think that you don't like me and you want to tear me down.
Yeah. You don't want to generalize. See, the problem is he got into a lot of generalization. You don't want to generalize all people. That's like you ran into some people from a city and they smell, and you're like, hey, everybody in that city smell.
Right.
You know, you don't want to get into that. Like, that's dangerous territory.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of people out here, specifically in the black race, trying to better themselves, get out of that loop that I've talked to you about that many were in since slavery and generations back. And you
better not talk about that. You better not talk about that. You a victim. You a victim if you talk about shit like that. Don't be talking like that now.
Hey, HQ, you up here sounding like somebody from the Black Channel now. Watch out now.
they gonna call you a victim when you get to talk about slavery and racism and shit like that. You a victim. But see, that's the way to shut people down and shame them from asking what is due to them. What's due to me is what needs to be. What I think. You can't shame me into saying, "Oh well, I don't want to ask about reparations." You just a the first thing they're gonna say is you a victim. Stop being a victim. See, no, you ain't shaming me. I ain't finna be shamed.
Yeah. You know, the reality is with that is just that those are shaming tactics and falsehoods.
Right.
You know? Yeah, those are shaming tactics and falsehoods. Just like, and then what really annoyed me, he just started making up stuff about Martin Luther King. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you're just making stuff up. Nobody has ever come to the 40, 50, 60 years later, nobody else has said this. Now all of a sudden you got the inside on Martin Luther King. Stop it.
Yeah,
come on, man.
I heard about it. I didn't see the full clip.
Like,
I heard about it, but
you're trolling, man. Like, it's not real. It's not real. Like, they would have been put that out if it was any truth to that, or women that was making those claims. They would have been found those women. What are you talking about?
See, I haven't heard the whole clip because I just didn't. You know, I just wanted to accept his death and leave him alone. Right? Go and do your thing. Good riddance. Whatever. You didn't deserve to die, but you didn't. But you didn't put positivity.
Oh, okay. Hey, HQ, let me jump in for a quick second.
Okay.
I see Jay Tillman said, for people who never been slaves. He must have missed what I said some episodes back. I'll do just a quick synopsis. Jay Tillman, what I'm essentially saying, man, is no, people who are currently here are not slaves. But what I'm speaking on specifically when I say that is many people post that slavery generation for generations past have not been able to get themselves out of a loop, is what I'm saying. Many of those families from way back then were not married. They were broken families. They weren't together. And that has continued In addition to that continuation, we have been targeted, COINTELPRO, many other objectives and secret agendas have been targeting our people specifically. So many people have not been able to gather. Some families have been able to eventually get married, find some other middle class blacks, and go on and have a family and have better generations, but many have not. Like I know a family specifically, when their family moved up here from in the early 40s from the South, they like their whole family has been in turmoil since. They've never been able to like a few got married, but then drugs came into play, alcohol. They just never been able to get on track. They haven't built any generational wealth, and the families all over the place. And we were never set straight post-slavery. We didn't get any reparations like Indians, any reservations, any specifics. Japanese got it. Jewish people got it. Many people have gotten it. We've never gotten it. So, Jay, this is a very unique, nuanced issue we're dealing with here, man. Like I it's easy to say that, but this issue with blacks, FBAs in America is very unique and nuanced. And all of the hard work that was put in from slavery, those helped build up generational wealth for many white families. We didn't get any of that. So everybody, each generation has to start from ground zero again. When your kids get grown, Jay, they're not starting from ground zero. You know, you and your wife are gonna definitely leave something from behind. Both of you guys are successful. You know, and they've been raised, they've had the benefit of being raised by two competent parents. Many people from where I come from have not had that benefit, and they're not gonna inherit anything. So
you all hit oh, here come Jay. You all hit the like button, you hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button. Hey, we had these discussions every day. We have these discussions every day. You know, we have one tonight at 10 o'clock, but we got one going on right now. This wasn't a discussion about slavery or anything like that. This was a discussion of people's truth when it came to Charlie. You can't say my truth is not truth. I cannot dispute what you heard from Charlie or what have you. I'm just saying people heard him differently, and you can't say my truth is a lie because I heard what I heard, right? Hey Jay, what's happening?
Hey, HQ, what's up, everybody? It's kind of loud over here, so my son's going crazy.
Okay.
So I had to kick them out real quick. Okay. But I hear all that stuff you're saying. Like, what's up, Lex? What's up, chat? What's going on, everybody? What's up, my brother Ty Pro? I still love you, bro, even though we don't disagree on these things. You too, Project Leroy. My thing is, I refuse, even though you know, black descendants of slavery, I refuse to believe that anything that happened back then still has more control over my life right now than my decisions that I make in life. I don't know why that's so hard I understand generational ties and things like that and stuff passed down through generations, but we all have that stuff in our families. I got that stuff.
No, that's not true. Well. That's not. I don't think we all do. Not in this current.
And to a certain extent, I don't know any black person or any white person or Latino that doesn't have any kind of trauma in their history. Maybe not to the extent of slavery.
Yeah.
But everybody has something, maybe even close. Maybe you had alcoholic parents or drug addict parents and stuff like that. Yeah. We talked to brother Walker and brother Gavin X, and they talk about being crack babies, and look what they're doing. Yeah. So that was one generation off of them, negative things that could attribute to more negative things in their life, and they're still doing something with their lives right now. So
that's true.
How can I go back and think that slavery, regardless of how horrendous it was, has more of an effect on my life right now than the choices that I make in life? That's my question.
Okay, here's the answer to that. Here's the thing, Jay. You're talking about incredibly resilient people. You know, that's congrats to Walker and Gavin X. And I've had to pull myself out of that situation. What I'm simply telling you is many people who have evolved from that generation through generation and many generations not getting it right, they're not the bulk of those people with lacking those great upbringings, those secrets, proper upbringings, teachings, etc. The bulk is not going to be able to make it. That's my point. I never said no one can make it. They can make
everybody. That's with anything. So even within the Black community, even outside of the
more people make it when they have those benefits. More people make it.
So I hear you saying that about some people just can't do it.
Not without that background and those benefits, many will not be able to. Some people will make it even if they got left on the side of the road.
Okay, I got you. I hear you. And regardless of race or ethnicity, those people will get left behind regardless of the circumstance because they aren't built for it.
I think as a whole, my thing is many Black families have fallen victim to that particular cycle, and many have not been able to get themselves out of it. I get the gist of what you're saying, but I've seen this firsthand, and I grew up in that type of neighborhood.
Me too.
Me, Gavin X, and Mr. Walker's living and upbringing are probably pretty close, man. To be honest with you. Go ahead.
I've grown up around those individuals as well. I was lucky enough to have a good mother, a good parents, right?
Yeah.
That kind of put things in perspective for me.
That's huge.
But I grew up around people who didn't have those things.
Yeah.
Some of them didn't make it out. Some of them did.
Some did. Yeah. Yeah.
So what regardless of what Charlie was saying, and I don't agree with a lot of stuff he said. My whole and I'm not caping for 100% Charlie, go Charlie, yada yada yada. I just don't believe that somebody should be taken out for the words that they speak.
He shouldn't have been.
Regardless if you believe him or not, regardless if you agree with him or not, regardless if you think he's a racist or not. It's a lot of racists out there. It's a lot of racist Black people out there too. I hear Black people talk all the time and they say very racist things, but it's like, whatever. Mentality for them is Black people can't be racist. It's like we have no power.
It's the difference between racist, prejudice, and bigotry. And Charlie Kirk was racist because he spread false statistics and manipulated numbers that encouraged people to believe that, to the point where they look at Charlie Kirk's death as more meaningful than George Floyd. George Floyd deserved to die, deserved to get mocked because Black people are just terrible people. That's the rhetoric that he spewed. But because he was a Christian white man, that was his rhetoric, and that's
he didn't say that.
That's what the people who
he might have spoke specifically. Sorry to cut you off, Ty, but he might have spoke specifically about those individuals, but he never said that about Black people in general.
This is the thing.
What about what he said about MLK? Go ahead, Ty.
Look, he was a public speaker, and he was talking to people in a way that was conditioning their minds. So when you because if that was, he never talked about white violence, white crime, white anything, because he was conditioning his audience. And the positions that he took was Black people are violent. That's why his very last words living was gang violence. He took the position that Black people were lesser, Black people were violent. He mocked George Floyd.
He never said Black people were lesser. He said he didn't believe in race.
You don't gotta say, if I tell you, you
he
don't have to
out of
say
his mouth
literally out his he was fucking racist. He didn't have to call nobody.
I've never heard a racist person say we are the same.
He said it's manipulation, Jay. You smarter than this, brother. You just gotta let that shit go, bro.
Why would that? If that's manipulation, why would he even let that? I mean, why would he even let that come out of his mouth?
So if we are the same, why would he say Juneteenth don't deserve to be a federal holiday? But he getting a holiday. Columbus Day gets a holiday. Independence Day is celebrated. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated. You said what?
Does Columbus Day still get a holiday?
Depends on what state you're in. State by state.
I'm just
So
asking because we didn't get
Juneteenth, you could go out your way and speak against Juneteenth, but St. Patty's Day don't deserve. That's anti-black racist rhetoric, Jay. So he was a mastermind, and that's why so many people loved him because he knew how to be racist without you feeling racist. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. He was
No, I
good
just
at
don't see. I
rapping hate.
don't see racist. I don't see racism in things that aren't racist. People can have their
It's
opinion.
Wait a
racist
minute.
if I tell.
Let me
I'm
ask
sorry.
you a
Go ahead.
question,
Go ahead.
John. Hold on. I just want to say this. What about when he said Martin Luther King was not a good man and they should have never passed the civil rights bill? What about what he
Hold on,
said
y'all. Give me a
about-
minute, okay? Y'all give me a minute. Hold on. I gotta
Okay.
run. I gotta run to the door. Hold on.
For sure.
Keep
Okay.
talking.
We got you.
Yeah, I want to know what about when he said
I
MLK
didn't see
Jr. was
that.
not a good
I gotta see the
man,
full video. I have to
and
see the full video.
okay, and then he said he never should have
I've
passed
heard a
the civil
black woman
rights
say
bill.
Martin Luther King wasn't a good man.
Yeah, he did say that, and then he
No,
also
I've heard a black woman say that as well. So I have to see the full
hold
context of the
on.
video.
And then he implied and started saying, MLK allowed some other guy to molest some woman or something. He started coming out with this story. Nobody has never heard this story. Everybody been fact checking it. There's no info about it. Everybody asking like, where's this coming from? So
Yeah,
I want to know
I've heard he was a
why,
womanizer, but I've never heard anything other than that.
So you didn't hear him say that, but you did hear him say,
No,
if I
didn't
see
hear
a
him talk
black
about
pilot,
MLK.
if you did hear him say, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna say, whoa, I hope he's qualified.
And I watched that
You agree
from the
with that?
beginning, and I watched that from the beginning to the end of it, and I understand why he was saying it.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you two questions. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, but not just because of black.
Huh?
Yeah, but not just because of black. Because of any DEI hire.
Okay, so
Because I've been on the
point?
opposite side of a DEI hire.
So do you think that hiring DEI means that the black pilot gotta take less flight hours to be a pilot?
Can I add some context to why I think the way I think?
Sure.
So at the age of 40, I had been in the military for 15. I was a military veteran, medical background. So trauma, everything, EMT, all that stuff. Physically fit, physically capable. I'm 6'2". I'm a pretty decent sized guy, right? Work out regularly, right? At the Fire Force in Canada, a 20-year-old barista got hired over me. I went to fire school. She did not. I did volunteer. She did not. I was already a paid on call firefighter. She was not. She got hired over me. Why? Because she was a DEI hire. She was a 20-year-old barista who had no previous experience. I had military experience, previous medical experience, and I'm a big dude.
She could have been fucking somebody too, though. That's so anecdotal. She could have been sucking some dick and got the job.
She wasn't the only one.
So hold on, look. All right, out of the anecdotal experience, do you think that a black
that's
pilot?
why I'm cautious about DEI hires.
Because
I don't want to be hired because I'm black, Typo. I didn't want to be a firefighter because I was black.
All right, okay. I'm gonna ask you a question, and I got another question. So I want to ask you this, and I'm gonna ask you another question. Do you think a black pilot has to is able to become a pilot for Delta with less hours than a white man?
No, I absolutely don't think that. But you know what?
Do you think his qualifications have to be the same as a white man?
Do you know what I don't want?
You don't want people being hired just because they race, ethnicity.
No, I don't want people to have the capability to say, "Oh, he was only hired because he was DEI," or "She was only hired because she was DEI."
Take that off to the side. So somebody says, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to hope he's qualified is not the same as saying I don't want black people getting a job just because they black.
So you can't understand why somebody would say that, though?
Yes, if they racist. So I'm going to say this.
No, you can't. I'm serious. You can't understand why somebody would say because of seeing seeing DEI hires.
Have you ever seen a black pilot?
You can't understand why somebody would say that.
Have you ever seen a white pilot and said, I hope they're qualified?
Absolutely, I have. Especially if it's what's the word? Man, Aaron and them was just talking about it earlier today.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
No, what's it called? When somebody hires in the family or something like
Nepotism.
that. Nepotism.
Yes, because
yes.
okay, thank you. So do you see why affirmative action and DEI is this? Because of nepotism. Because
Nepotism. It's the
people
same
with
thing.
black
It's two
names,
sides of the same
because
coin.
people with black names get jobs 50% less than a white felon and a black person with no felony. Even though DEI affects white men, white women more than anybody.
Yeah, we don't even benefit from it,
A
but
black
still,
man without a
when they lump us
felony,
into it.
a black man without a felony has a less likely chance of getting a job as a white man with a felony. But I should just make sure my children have white names so they can get jobs.
What's a white name versus a black name?
My name versus a fucking Brad.
Did you talk, Aaron? Did you say anything, Aaron? Let Aaron speak. What did he say?
What is the conversation about, so I don't deviate too far? Because there's a lot that I could go.
Jay Tillman is trying to say Charlie Kirk wasn't racist. It had racist talking points.
Well, what is HQ's direction for the conversation?
My view is I listened to him. I listened to several things he said, and I went and I saw the clip of him talking about Joy Reid and Michelle Obama. Then I went and listened to the full clip. So that tells me there was derision for black women or black women, but I haven't heard him say anything derogatory against white women. So I had to assume that this was something against black women. So I read it, I heard it in totality. So why would you inherently think that they're not intelligent? So that's what I came away from.
He said that these two women are inherently not intelligent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because of what?
He said, "We know you're not. We know you're not mentally capable of X, Y, and Z
individually."
As a group, he said it as a group of women. He said,
"No, he didn't."
Yeah, it was as a group.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. You're not answering the question genuinely. He was talking about those two individuals.
He listed 3-4 individual women.
So why did he say the words black women aren't if he was only talking about them two?
Ty-Pro, come
No.
on, now, don't do that.
No. It was the ending part that convinced me. Let me get the clip.
Because what do we say when black women say, "Oh, they're the most educated"? What do we say? They're the most what?
But I don't need somebody who say as much racist talking points to say that though. Like y'all gotta.
I'm looking at it for the words that he's saying. I'm not looking at it for his skin, his complexion. Man.
I just don't understand.
Yeah, I'll say this, Jay. I think what's getting overlooked here is the fact that not only the racial overtones, man. It's just the main thing with the guy is he came to the game with a level of arrogance from a rich family and just basically came out and just started talking down on people. Great upbringing, great everything, donors, everything. And then just start saying, hey, what's you guys' problem? Why you can't get it done?
And never had nothing to say about white men.
It's like, bruh, like, are we gonna be real here? Like, even the stuff I touched on, like previously, that's a prime reason why it's such an imbalance in things. You know,
I've also heard Kirk say the civil rights movement, which is the same thing as Malcolm X said, or the same thing that Martin Luther King said towards the before he passed away. He integrated into a burning building.
Their
Charlie Kirk
reasoning
say
for
the same
saying that
thing
was
because he
completely
said
Hold on.
he said black people.
The reason behind that was
Hold on,
completely
everybody.
different.
Hold on.
That's
Hold
disingenuous,
on.
Jay.
Hold on. I'm finna play the clip that put me firmly on the other side of this Charlie Kirk person, and I didn't have no opinion about him, but I'm finna play the full clip. So hold on, right here. Listen. And then I'll tell you what I think I can interpret. What I interpret.
2 minutes and
Michelle
11
Obama
seconds.
and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know.
We know. We know.
HQ.
Hold on. I'm not done.
You got to play the clip, please.
I'm finishing the clip. Hold on.
You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
Why exactly? Hold on.
Why did it have to be a white person's spot? It couldn't be another black woman's spot who was more qualified?
Hold on. Let her finish the clip.
She's not going to finish the clip. She wants to say something.
No, I want to finish the clip.
So why you hit pause?
Why would he say, we know?
I don't know. We don't have the rest of the clip.
Okay, here we go.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher.
What?
Can you play it from the beginning, undisturbed? Here's what you're gonna do. When you interrupt a stream of thought, you cloud people's ability to make an assessment, and especially when you interrupt the stream of thought and then interject your individual commentary, it shapes the way people view what's actually being said objectively. If you want our assessment, please just play the clip.
Okay, here we go.
And Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course. That's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh, no. Imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive. They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies that turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our policy.
That's the clip.
Yeah, no, I don't see him saying black people are inherently incapable. I see him having a very robust aversion to those women and what they said. And I'm very irritable. What are we doing?
You have your opinion. He spoke
okay.
to you.
I think it's a very irresponsible expression. I think it's a very irresponsible expression of his opinion of those people. And I think it leaves out very important context. The formulator's opinion is at the time when those women were brought in under affirmative action, there was a more clear delineation between who was brought in and who wasn't on color as opposed to merit than there is today. Right? That woman looked older. I don't know when she was first introduced to her job, but I would assume it was quite a while ago. And quite a while ago, yes, there was a clear problem with race being an issue, you getting the job over merit. But that's not the case as much as it is today. But then when I think about Charlie Kirk and his age, I think he's woefully unaware of that fact. But what he's saying, I don't take it as, me personally, I don't take it as him denigrating black people as being substandard. I think he's just using a lousy way to attack irresponsibly anyway, or the ignorant way to attack what the woman said.
So why did he say we know?
Well, you have to if you really want an objective answer to that question, you have to understand who's we.
So I need to know who he meant by we.
Well, when he says we, yeah, if you want me to answer the question why say that, you need to know what these things mean. You can't just make assumptions.
I can only assume.
I would ask, why did he say they took the job from white people? Like those are the only people qualified.
Who had the job before her?
I don't know.
Right. See, these are things you got to know in order to make an honest assessment without feelings.
That's not really relevant though, because he's saying they took the jobs from like only white people are qualified. Because I'm sure it wasn't just those were the only two black people. I'm sure those weren't the only two black people looking for that job.
Before
but he said
you
white
qualified.
He
I didn't hear
said
you.
white people as though they were the only ones qualified.
As though. See, now that's an interpretation. I can't personally say he said that because that's what you're interpreting.
How would I interpret it any other way if he was specific about saying white
Well,
people?
I can answer that.
The way you interpret
He could have just said person.
No, well, I can answer that.
Okay.
Whomever had the job before her, what job are we talking about?
Joy Taylor.
I don't know.
She's a congressperson. She's in Congress.
Okay. So somebody was voted out, no?
Right. Somebody was voted out. What?
She's a congressperson?
Yes.
Yeah, Sheila Jackson Lee. Yes.
Was she appointed or voted in?
She was voted in.
Exactly. Which means the person that she replaced didn't retire or they weren't fired because of neglect or incompetence or anything like that. Which means she took someone's position by virtue of winning a vote.
Oh, that's what he meant. Oh, okay.
No,
so what
right.
Did he mean?
Is that person white?
So
exactly.
Wait a minute. So what did he mean when he said, we know you don't have the brain power?
Yeah, I thought you were going to eat. What you saying?
So I'm saying, what did he mean when he said, we know you don't have the brain power?
Okay.
Because of statements they have made. Because of statements they have made. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, no, I can answer that question quite clearly. I would need to know both of their performance records, the person that she replaced and what she's done. And then, like Black America said, you can listen to the way someone speaks and tell where they are intellectually.
He was insulting Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, and whatever that Supreme Court lady's name is. He was insulting them
Ketanji Brown-Lee, yeah.
As a whole. Right. He wasn't doing them individually, because if he did them individually, they'd all blow him out of the water mentally. Because he couldn't.
Now wait. Do you see what you just did?
So wait a minute, hold on.
Hold
on. Why would you insult four of the most smartest women in
I can give you reasons.
Public arena?
I can give you reasons.
Hold on. Why would he insult the four most smartest women that are in the public arena and say, you don't have the brain power to do X, Y, and Z? He don't have their mental records. He don't have their school records. He don't know any of that about them. So why would you insult those four women like that?
Before you answer, Black America, you don't have the mental records of these people to make the assertion that they're the most intelligent women in the arena.
But I don't need to know that. I know they're not the dumbest.
Was that a mic drop?
That's the whole point.
A mic drop?
I need to know that they're not the dumbest. I didn't insult them. He insulted.
So you're
I only need to know that they have brain power.
HQ, you're repeating yourself. HQ, you're repeating yourself. So you're telling me that you directly assess someone, their intellect is by virtue of them insulting someone, or that's what removes your ability to assess someone's intellect, is if you're insulting them. Is that what you're saying?
Wait a minute, I'm confused. People who graduated from Harvard Law School, people who graduated from Princeton, these people are average people? I can make the assumption that these women are smart or at least
See,
halfway intelligent.
Stop right there. I didn't say.
Hold on. He made the assumption that they didn't have the brain power.
HQ, you keep saying hold on because you make an assertion and then expect the conversation to follow the assertion when we haven't confirmed the assertion as being true or not. You just said these people went to these Ivy League schools. Does that make and you're who's insinuating that they're average? What I said was you don't have any ability to assess whether or not they're the most intelligent people in the arena, which is what you said. You said they are the 4 top women. Just because you go to a Ivy League school does not make you the most intellectual agents in a
Let's take that back.
Right. So do you see how precise the conversation has to be, though?
No. We don't need to be precise about what he said. He said, we know you don't have the brain power.
HQ, everything needs to be precise. Everything needs to be precise to have an accurate conversation to get the facts out. Everything needs to be precise. Context does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Does matter.
If I say you need to stop those kids from eating that candy, they're gonna be like balloons. Most people gonna assume you're talking about they're gonna be fat. I don't need context to understand that is what he was meaning by saying they were dumb women.
All right. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Is there poison in the candy?
Jay,
is the candy
Jay, nice to have you back.
What up?
God,
my brother.
Aaron, we gonna take it down a notch. Hey, Ty Pro, my pro black African Bambaataa. Fuck you, brother.
I don't give a fuck about Africa, man. Black Americans only.
And Big Lex in the house, along with the Iceman and the Miss
Salute.
HQ. What most men, right? And I'm saying most men, what most men have a problem with are the statements that the women make. For example, Ketanji Brown Jackson. HQ, I could ask you the simple question, what is a woman? Can you answer that question for me, HQ? What is a woman? Oh, I must have went dead. Did I go dead?
No, you didn't go dead. Why am I answering that question?
Because it's a simple question.
Just answer the question, HQ.
I don't know what porn is either, but I know it when I see it.
HQ, just answer the question.
What is a man? What is a woman? What is a man, HQ?
Just answer it, HQ.
This is where things get hard. And
I don't particularly care to answer. That's a dumb question.
No, I dig it.
I don't want to answer because it's leading me down a rabbit hole. I don't want to go. I don't worry about what you said. You're trying to make me think, this woman is not intelligent.
HQ, the reason that you think it's a rabbit hole is because you've been brainwashed to think it's a rabbit hole.
That woman holds a place. Hold on. That woman holds a place on the Supreme Court. Don't try to insult her because she didn't know how to answer or didn't want to answer what a woman was. Don't do that.
Supreme Court justice doesn't know what a woman is. So how can she?
That's not where I'm going. But that's not even where I'm going, guys. Let's take it back down one notch. Okay, that's not where I'm going. And I said the reason why men, for the most part, don't like it when women do these things. Because we know that she's smart. She went to Harvard. She's on the Supreme Court. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh, she got a white husband, but that's okay. It's a black woman. But then she gets up there and and can't answer a simple question. An adult human female is a woman. She can't answer that question because of the things that are being pushed. These are things that make men upset in general, and that's why I told you it's going to be a huge problem when women say certain things. We pay very good attention to you guys. We hang on every word you guys say, and we listen very astutely to the things you say. And when you guys fuck up like that, we catch every little
Well,
bit of it.
hold on. The question is, you wait a minute.
Nope.
This is hold on. This is the ultimate gaslighting bullshit. Charlie Kirk was being insulting to black women, maybe those specific black women, but he was being insulting. He was questioning. Hold on. He was questioning their intelligence and their capability. The way he framed it was affirmative action picks, which was what made him suggest. It was suggesting that or implying that they only got what they got through race and gender and not through merit. That's what the hell he was implying. So don't gaslight me to say that's what he wasn't saying. I know what he was saying. Okay, he was trying to insult those women, and that's what his implication was.
And the bigger point is
Sheila
not that.
Jackson Lee. Sheila Jackson Lee said it herself that she was there because of affirmative action,
The point
which
isn't
turned to DEI. She
Charlie
said
Kirk
it
didn't like
herself.
women. The point was he was racist and spreading racist and anti-racist propaganda about black people, black women, black men, black fathers, black people that's died, black martyrs, black people. It can be real. Y'all can have this.
100%. You're
And
right.
it's too easy to denigrate black women and just make it a woman thing. And that's why I was talking to you like that in the comments earlier, Black America, because people, it's like an easy way to talk shit about black people by just focusing on black women. And then you look up, you don't realize the self-hate and the anti-black rhetoric that you're feeding into.
Okay,
But
so
Charlie Kirk was
so
fucking racist.
No, but I'm not saying that he just insulted black women. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you chip away at everything that is black, that is everything meaningful in a black that gives black people meaning in this country. He tried to denigrate Martin Luther King. He denigrated the death of George Floyd. He denigrated Joy Reid. He denigrated Michelle Obama. He
That gives
talked
me
about
meaning.
DEI. He talked about getting rid of the Civil Rights Act. When you take a hammer to everything that surrounds me and makes me who I am, or puts me on the map in this country, and you try to tear it down, you don't like me that much. You don't like me that
Can
much.
I ask a question then, HQ?
Go ahead.
Why is it so much emphasis on this one man when in predominantly black communities, regardless of how they frame it, black people don't even like black people?
That's false and disingenuous.
It's
Jay,
not
tell me
false
that's
and
some bullshit, bro.
disingenuous,
Here
Ty
you
Pro.
go.
It's not
What
false and
black people don't like black people,
disingenuous.
bro? You gonna say
It's
gang
gang
violence?
gang
You gonna
gang
you gonna
bangers.
y'all
The
that and
women are on
that's why I
the
love
women are.
that gang
Hold,
violence was his last word.
hold on though, Ty. Hold on though, Ty. Gang violence. The women are only getting married in the 20 percentile. That's a failing rate. That's a F. There's lots of things to point out about the
So
dysfunction.
black people are
Hold on.
the only people in gangs?
No, but Ty
No,
Pro,
There's
I
not a
don't care
gang in
about
every
other people in
race.
gangs. I don't care
There's not
about
a
other
gang in
races in
every
gangs.
race.
I don't
So
care
no,
about
maybe
yes.
other
that's a
races in gangs.
poverty problem.
No, it's not because motorcycle. Bro, do you know Hell's Angels is one of the richest bike clubs
I
in
know
America, but they still have shootouts, bro, and they're not poor. Those
most
men
biker
bike
gangs are drug dealers and gangs. Yeah, they
right,
just call them bike clubs.
they are not poor by any means, so it doesn't have anything to do with poverty.
But
Everybody in my bike
they
club
they
is
they
a
didn't start
business
off
owner.
rich. they didn't start off rich, and bike gangs been dealing hard drugs for a long time. So I would
Ty,
imagine
bro,
most established
quick,
bike
quick,
gangs are
quick history
lucrative.
lesson. Quick history lesson. The Kennedys, the whole family, they started off pushing moonshine.
That's
Okay,
the American
they
way.
they started off pushing moonshine. So
During Prohibition.
But
yes. So
but the
my
but
my my point is talking about the black community, and we're seeing the things that are making it not thrive. And my point with the women is, Ty, unfortunately, bro, you some of these women, we gotta let them go. I'm not saying every woman, but some of these women, in large part, 70%, you gotta let them go, bro. You got to. You
Man,
can't save them all.
I don't even know about all that. What I'm saying is I've traveled the country. Whenever I go to like with the place I am in right now, I live in a predominantly white neighborhood where I am right now. It's not the same as when I go across town to the predominantly black neighborhood. Why?
what's the difference?
Why?
What's the difference?
It's not because they're black. It's because it's a mentality, man.
No, okay. What's the difference? What if you had to point out to the reasoning why those neighborhoods are different? What would you say?
Because there's no community there.
That's why.
Yes, there's no community.
So that's the problem with the black neighborhood. Is no community there. It's not poverty. It's not nothing that Triple X tried to tell you earlier.
Why are they in poverty? Why are they in poverty?
Why are they in poverty? Triple X has told you that when you first came on the mic. Why are they in poverty?
Bro, my grandparents was all they didn't
So
have
black
money.
people just lazy.
My grandparents, I didn't say that, bro. Did I say
So
that?
what
I said
are
it's a
you
mentality.
saying?
It's
What's
a
the
mentality.
mentality?
It's a victim mentality, man.
Hold on, y'all. Give me some of those likes. I need like 10 likes out there. I
It's
need
not
brainwashed, man.
It's not, bro. It's not brainwashing. I'm not brainwashed when I go to an area and I physically am in it and see
When
it
you
myself.
are in the hood, do you know why the hood became the hood? You're gonna just say it's
Why
victim
is it?
mentality.
Why is it
It was
still the
victim
hood?
mentality during the 90s, during the 80s, during the 70s. It's just been victim
okay,
mentality.
let me ask you this question. How can a neighborhood be gentrified?
This is more because you can't frame it as these things just happened in the 2000s. You
I'm
know
not
these
saying
things
this.
been
I'm not
going
saying that,
on.
Ty. I'm
So
saying
how long
how.
has
I'm
the okay?
talking
So
about in general.
how long has these things
How can a
been?
neighborhood be gentrified?
How long has these things been going on?
Bro,
They've been going on for
you're not
the last few
listening to what I'm
decades, Ty, bro.
saying, man.
My uncles, who are in the who were, they all passed on. It would be in their 60s and 70s, right? My dad's brothers, my mom's brothers, they are the ones that sold all the property.
Yes.
They're the ones that give that property away. When I pass away, I told my kids, I'm not leaving you a motherfucking thing. I know you're going to sell my house, and you guys are going to be fighting over the money and splitting it up and all that shit. Let me tell you something.
That's anecdotal. Everybody don't do that.
Okay, can
It's
I tell you
not
why it's a
anecdotal,
mentality
bro.
thing? It's a
It's
mentality
not
thing because
anecdotal.
you have poor
It's
immigrants
crabs in
coming
a
over.
bucket.
Poor immigrants coming over
Oh
that,
my
come from
God, Jay, you
bro.
sound
Listen to
just
me, dog.
like Brandon Tatum
Bro,
or the
please
Hodge
listen to
twins.
me, man. You're not listening.
Jesus Christ, I hear
It's a
this. You're like a
mentality,
bot. I
man.
hear this all day.
It's
Bro,
not a
look,
bot.
poor
How come?
immigrants come over
So how
here
come you can't
with
let me say it? How come you can't let me say it
poor
then?
immigrants don't come over here with generations of the country that they're coming to.
Bro, you're
They
not
come
taking
over
it.
here
So
with
nobody
a
takes
husband.
accountability, man.
They
Nobody takes
and Jay,
accountability.
It's not
hold on, Jay and
accountability,
Ty.
bro.
Jay and Ty, hold on. Let me say this, and I'm gonna go back on mute. Ty, they come over here with a husband and wife format. That is the difference.
And
They come over.
first cousins, second cousins.
Maria and Jose come over here with a husband
And guess what? A
wife
lot of these
format.
immigrants come over here, get locked up, do drugs, have a bunch of kids. There's not all of them. And y'all always want Maria and Jose is crazy as fuck. They own a yard. They crip walking. They gangsters. They gangbangers. Maria stabbed her baby daddies. She got
Okay,
8 little
can we?
puntas and chicos.
Who
Like
in the
y'all
black
make this
community? Who
narrative like
owns
these
what?
people are so much better, and they're
I didn't
not.
say better. I didn't say better. See,
But
see,
that's
y'all like to
the
spin my
white
words, and I see the
bullshit that
people in
y'all
the.
be
It's
saying, bro.
not, man. You're not
Mexicans don't
listening
do
to me.
nothing no better than us.
Y'all
Let's
hear me,
chill
but y'all
out.
not letting me say what I need to say. You keep cutting me off, and you're not
Okay.
really listening to what
Listen.
I'm saying to you.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
There's a sickness in our mentality that's deeply embedded in our culture, man. And we both know it because we can both sit back and point at the things that we allow to negatively affect us.
Mm-hmm.
Other communities can build and work together out of poverty. I'm not saying that they're better than us. I'm just saying I see it
We
being
do
done.
the same things though. Y'all hyper focus on the bullshit, bro. I live in Detroit. We got black owned a whole lot of shit. We got people that work together. We got community programs. We got groups of people who patrol the streets. Black people. We got the Nation of Islam doing what they do in the community. We got New Era Detroit that walk old ladies to the fucking gas station and pump their gas all over the city. It's not just gang banging and violence. And then you got President Trump telling Chicago kids that they're born and raised to be criminals. Y'all got to stop this fucking white anti-black bullshit, because if you go to any hood, you're going to see more than just one type of person. You're not going to get robbed. You don't got to lock your doors. That's your mentality, not our mentality. Your mentality, your whitewashed mentality to feel safer in white people. I've lived in the suburbs all the time. That's the most unsafe I ever felt, because my fucking neighbors plotting on me. My neighbors calling the police on me. My neighbors is some fucking raccoons, and we know that white men is the most violent people in this fucking country, bro. I could
So
walk around the
who
hood
named
at
it
3, 4 in the
Chirac?
morning. I could walk around in the hood at 3 or 4 in the morning. I can't walk around certain suburbs at 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm gonna be laid out on the dang on street in minutes.
Who named it
Please stop
Chirac,
that
Ty?
fucking bullshit.
Hey, I think one thing. Hey, can I jump in right quick? I think one thing to keep in mind is when we talk about those families that come over from another country, yeah, like Black America said, he made a great point. They're married, it's an intact family.
They
They've
come
had
over with
some
money. They have leg ups already.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, HQ. They usually you've gotten your money together to some degree in a lot of those cases to
Yeah,
come over
because
here.
you know why they come
And
over with
then
money, right?
yeah. Hold
Because
on,
they
hold on,
put
hold
the
on,
money
Jay.
up to the patriarch of the family.
Right, Jay. I got you. This is where I'm going with this though. Follow me. Once they come over, then they build. Go ahead. I'm gonna go back on mute.
I know. I just said one thing. Go ahead. Go ahead, Triple. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. And y'all talking about communities that's been devastated with years of government interference, non-resources, non-housing, redlining, like, and then we a victim when we bring these things up. That hasn't even stopped. This
Bro,
type of
it's
stuff
not
just
the
stopped in the
government's
80s and the
responsibility to
90s.
take care of us. We could take care of ourselves, man.
Nobody's saying that we can't, but
So
we're
how
not.
come we haven't?
It's not about people taking care of us. It's people
I kind of touched
attacking
on that.
us.
Get it?
That's what you're misunderstanding. We were being literally attacked by the government we live in. The same government we're supposed to be proud to be a part of this country. That same government is attacking us. Sada Shakur just passed away yesterday. We've been being attacked. It's been a reason why those neighborhoods are like that. They
So
are.
What
what you're
happened to
saying, Ty
Tulsa,
Pro, is that
Oklahoma?
we gave up.
What happened to Tulsa, Oklahoma?
So what you're
When
saying,
we
Ty
had the
Pro, is
Black
that we
Wall Street,
gave
what
up.
happened to
The
it?
most
Nobody
resilient
gave
people on the
up, bro.
planet gave
Do
up.
you know what the war on drugs did to
Everybody,
people?
hello, hold on. There's only like a small percent. There's only like maybe 1/5 or two. It's only like 20% of us that live in the ghetto that are actually poor. It's only about 20%. The rest of us work every day, go to work every day, are successful. So it's only like 20%. I think we're doing fairly decent.
HQ, the problem with that, the problem with that is Ty Pro is successful, right? He got his own crib. He got this. He got his cars. He got, you know what I mean? He a truck driver. But he don't have no bitch. So he got kids by different bras. One of them bitches is poor. One of them bitches ain't doing good. They gotta ask him for money. They gotta ask him to come change tires, put up lights, come hang a TV.
Yeah, but what's the point?
The point is, if you are in community means you don't have to ask me. When I get home, you say, baby, can you hang the TV? You don't have to ask me to come all the way to another house to do it. It'd be 14, 15 Mexicans living in the same house.
Arguing a whole different point. You arguing a whole different point.
Let me just speak to that real
exactly.
quick.
You arguing a whole different point.
Let me speak to that.
Okay, I'll go back on mute.
Both of my baby mama's parents are married, and they actually come from good homes. You know what I'm saying? They actually got bread, and they don't got kids with nobody else. I'm their only baby daddy. One's a nurse, and one works for the post office, and both their parents are married and straight. Far as me, I live in Detroit. When you hear somebody say Detroit, you gonna think I live in a ghetto off top, and I live in a beautiful neighborhood with a gigantic park 3 minutes walking from my house. Everybody who pull up like, oh, bro, your neighborhood crispy, because Detroit sounds bad to everybody on the outside, but it's not. And it's like HQ said, it's very small pockets of poverty in the ghetto, and a lot of these people come from an era where you had to sell drugs and steal rims because it wasn't opportunities in the neighborhood. Schools aren't closing.
That's a lie.
It's not a
You
fucking
didn't
lie
have.
if
You
you
didn't
grow
have
up.
to do. Let's not
Bro,
say that. No, we're not
the
gonna say
hoods
that.
of
We're not gonna say
America,
that. Not gonna say
the
that.
hood
Nobody
of
has to do
America
that.
after the 80s were inflicted with a war on drugs, and they were leftovers areas of
You being disingenuous
revolutionary
now, man.
fights.
I was listening.
You keep saying people not listening to you, but
All right.
you don't want to listen.
You just
You
said
don't want to
people
listen
had
to
to
the
sell
facts.
drugs. You just said
everybody.
people had to sell
everybody.
drugs. That's not a fact.
Hey, everybody.
Nigga,
Hey, everybody. Hey,
what
everybody.
was going on?
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. It's 8:30, and this conversation and debate is over for the moment. You know I got to break this up.
I just want to ask one more question. Can I ask one more question?
I'll be back. 10:30, I'll be back. But the whole point is this. Only 20 to 25% of us black people live in poverty. So that means around 75 to 80% of us do actually fairly well. So wouldn't y'all consider an 80% rate a good rate? The rate that we do successful things? Or are we counting the 20%? Or are we counting the 20%?
No, I wouldn't.
Go ahead.
But then again, Black America, you would say 80% is good if it was in a white neighborhood. So why it can't be 80% in the black neighborhood?
Because we're doing okay separately, HQ. If it doesn't work separately. The car doesn't work without the engine. It needs to be a cohesive unit.
No, it ain't that way in every. It's not that way in every
We are
neighborhood.
coming out of that mindset, though. We have been fighting shit for years, bro. We really just got the opportunity to get the level playing field in the 2000s. You see all of these young black streamers, they rich as fuck with their friends, bro. Me and my homies,
but they're not married. This is gonna be my last
everybody
statement.
ain't got to fucking get married. Marriage is a bad idea.
Black America. People do not have to be successful to be. You do not have to be married to be successful in this country. That's not how that works. If you got an 80% rate of being successful, that means the bulk of your people are successful. That wasn't a statistic that Charlie put on the board. Charlie put on the board that half of us was shitty, half of us didn't have brain power, half of us was X, Y, and Z.
Never said that.
Okay, that's what Charlie put on the board.
Never said that.
So,
hey, I want to know.
No, I'm not saying he said that. Hold on. I told y'all
You
this
literally
is
just said that's what he said.
This is the 8:30 hour. This is 8:30 hour. This is 8:30 hour. I told y'all 8:30 hour. We can't continue to argue. What I'm saying is 80% is a decent enough rate from where we came from. We're trying to get out of that rate. He didn't say that. He implied that. Damn. How y'all don't know nuance? The man implied. He said 50% of black people were in jail or were criminals or something to that, or black men were in jail or whatever he made. His statistics were off. They were off. I'm saying to you all, when the man spoke and he said that about Joy Reid, he said that about Michelle Obama, he said that about those black women, regardless of whether he was talking about all black women, he was just talking about those 4 black women, he still said those women were unintelligent, too unintelligent. Yeah, I see, too unintelligent. I heard the quote. I don't need to hear the quote. People keep saying context. We get the context. I get it. Many people, when he said that one particular thing about Joy Reid and Michelle Obama, he got condemned for that. He was denigrating women, and he said it in the context of affirmative action, saying they only deserve their jobs because they had affirmative action. So y'all not finna whitewash me. Y'all can whitewash anybody else y'all want to. Y'all can hypnotize anybody y'all want to. Y'all can gaslight anybody y'all want to. But I took the man at his word, and the man said to me that these black women weren't smart enough to have the jobs they did. So them women are way smarter than me. So how the hell he think of me? What the hell think of me? So context, yes, context matters, but I ain't took him out of context. Nobody can do those mental gymnastics. Nobody. I ain't finna do those mental gymnastics. That young lady that I had, she broke it down very plainly. But that's neither here nor there. That's an argument for another day. We got into the argument of what Charlie Kirk said. I wasn't trying to get into the argument about what Charlie Kirk said. You accept Charlie Kirk because y'all love him. I accept Charlie Kirk because he said what he said, and he said some racial things. Not necessarily racial things. It don't matter what he said about me. What he said about me was these black women weren't smart. That wasn't racial. He said these black women weren't smart. That wasn't racial. That was just being denigrated. That was ridiculing black women. And for that alone, I can't get next to Charlie. But that's okay. You get next to Charlie. I'm not going to get next to Charlie. I'll be back here at 10 o'clock. I will be back here at 10 o'clock. Once I come back at 10 o'clock, it'll be another subject. The subject is socialism. Socialism. I want to find out, do people really know what socialism is? Or y'all just be talking? Socialism. I'll be back. 10:30. I'll be back. 10:30. I'll be back. 10:30. I'll be back.